It's Byron Connolly here, the editor of CIO Online. I'm here with Rob G, the solution architect at Logicalis. Rob, what are the key issues CIOs are facing that are driving the need to move applications and infrastructure to the cloud?
Well, traditional data centers still been built on technology that was developed 10, 15 years ago. It was never built with virtualization in mind. It was never built to scale or grow. Today's applications need much more of a demanding back-end data center. Some of the typical issues that we see CIOs are facing are things like data security, data sovereignty, where's my data being held? If it's in the US, are there going to be constraints around who accesses that? And also things like latency. Especially being in Australia, if we start trying to hop to multiple different countries, we're going to start seeing degradation in performance. So there's a whole, I guess, rafter of issues that typically we see.
Okay, so Rob, is there still a cost benefit to using a third-party cloud provider, given that today's virtualization technologies are so advanced?
Definitely, and it's quite interesting because Australia is one of the most highly virtualized countries in the world. I think some of the stats are around 80%. However, most of that virtualization still only remains at the actual hypervisor layer, so we're still using different silos of compute, different silos of storage, and different silos of networking. So what that means from an application growth perspective is when I come to stand up the 17th server, to stand up my 70th app or something, potentially I've got to then grow networking and storage as well. So my actual cost models grow to more of a spike because I've always got a 100 grand investment in networking or storage. So moving to a cloud model where we can just turn on, grow up, turn off, grow down on an ad hoc basis is definitely favourable.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so what factors do CIOs need to consider when they're designing a cloud strategy? How do they decide whether they need public, private or hybrid cloud infrastructure?
Look, I think the first step is to take a step back from thinking, does it need to be on-premise, so is it a private cloud? Does it need to be whole hog in an enterprise public cloud, or do we need to have a bit of both? The way I normally go about these kind of engagements and what I tell my customers is to actually look at the applications. So how do your applications work? How do they work? What are the dependencies between different applications? So typically things like email are normally good candidates to move out to a public cloud. Larger CRM applications and larger databases you may want to keep more on-premise. So normally it's take a step back, look at what the actual applications are doing, look at how they, what are the implications of desktops, the fat client and database style applications, and try and categorize which applications can sit in which different cloud environments. So what we'd normally recommend is for companies to do a kind of a cloud assessment. So take a service catalog type model where you've got gold, silver, bronze, and try and assign your applications into them different categories. From there, it's really easy to see then what are going to be good candidates to move out to public, where have I got a requirement for DR, where have I got a requirement for long-term backup, and really try and approach the subject from a application sense rather than a infrastructure or a high-level sense.
Mm-hmm.